Are you broadcasting one clear future or 100 conflicting prompts? And I'll say the right things. I want to be healthier. I want better relationships. I want more freedom. But if you wake up in the morning already tense and you react to your inbox all day, you distract yourself at night, you fall asleep with 20 open loops in your head, the actual broadcast sounds more like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm behind, I don't really believe this can change. Really, our nervous system is just broadcasting the same old thing for tomorrow. And it's like using ChatGPT and typing in a bunch of conflicting instructions. The output is chaos, not because you're broken, but because the prompt is confused. So the question isn't just what do you want from life, it's this: what signal are you really sending? I'm Dean Whitney. I'm a Harvard Medical School trained life coach and a certified neuroscience coach, polyvagal practitioner. For over a decade, I've been working with entrepreneurs, leaders, and athletes and developing what I call the Get Better framework. In this episode, I'd like to show you three things. First, why your brain is actually a lot like AI. Second, how vague and conflicting prompts influenced by the past and our fears can compromise your future. And third, how a simple future vision can help make life easier and move you towards a future you actually want. So how is the brain a lot like AI? When you use something like ChatGPT, the quality of what you get back depends entirely on what you put in. And if the prompt is vague or contradictory or just plain weird, the output is unpredictable. Imagine you type, create a photo of me where I'm really fit and I'm overweight and I want it to be photorealistic, but look like a cartoon with 20 fingers and anatomically correct. What you're going to get back is your guess as good as mine, but it's going to just come up with something and give you that. And when we think we want to be happy and we're broadcasting stress, it's really vague and that's not the signal it's getting. And you want deep relationships and you keep thinking about how lonely you are or how, things aren't working, and you want fitness and then you keep broadcasting how frustrated you are every time you look in the mirror. The G in GBT stands for generative, and that's the way our brain is. Our brain is always generating something. It's constantly generating expectations and tiny predictions based on it you ever lived and all of the things you're thinking. It's like a prediction machine. It's always trying to guess what's coming next and minimize the gap between what it expects and what you actually get. We take our past and we project it forward. We call that the future. The problem is we have no idea what's going to happen. And with these expectations, and then when things don't match our expectations, then we get upset about that. And we're constantly building our lives based on the old, messy prompt. I had a therapist once that said something that really helped me. At the time, I was really down and I thought I should be doing better. And I kept telling myself, what's wrong with me? Why am I not there yet? Why am I still dealing with these problems? She said, people don't all start in the same place. Different families, different resources, different nervous systems. Of course, we're not going to always be in the same place now. And it sounds obvious, but in the moment, something in me relaxed. I could stop broadcasting. I'm behind, I'm failing, I'm late. That's one example of a bad prompt. It's like, ChatGPT, what's my life look like? I'm behind, I'm screwing up, I'm late, and what's going to come out? At the same time, for a lot of us, we have a great deal of uncertainty. Our nervous system doesn't really like uncertainty. For most of human evolution, we had to err on the side of caution, because if it was a shadow from behind a rock, it could be nothing, or it could be a tiger. It's going to jump out and eat us, right? You're better off to just run for it. You really could just make two kinds of mistakes. You could overreact and stay alive, or you could underreact and there's a chance that you die. We're still using that operating system. So when your schedule's chaos and your future is vague and your relationships are on autopilot, your system interprets that as a threat. It might not be consciously, but physiologically. When your body thinks you're in danger, it narrows your options. It moves into survival state at a low level. And that's, fight or flight or dissociate. We might avoid taking action, or our decisions tend to be short term, protective, or impulsive. Not creative, not compassionate, not long term, or thinking about the future. There was an experiment that was done where participants were asked to remember a number, and then they were asked to go wait in the other room. As they were going to the other room, they'd be offered a snack, a choice, like a healthy snack, a piece of fruit, or unhealthy snack, like a piece of cake. What they found was the longer the number the person was asked to remember, the higher the likelihood they would choose the unhealthy snack. The less present that you are, the more that you're distracted, the more things on your mind, the lower the quality of your decision. Every day, a person makes thousands of decisions. What to eat, what to say in an email, whether to stop and listen, or to keep scrolling, or to stay on the couch, or go for a walk. There's a spectrum from the worst possible decision to the best possible decision. How present you are, it affects where you are on that spectrum. I remember one day I opened the freezer and there was the lettuce. So when I put the lettuce away, I could have put it in the refrigerator or the crisper, but that decision was on the worst side, right? Maybe I could have been worse. I could have put it in the heated oven or something. There's two things that we can do to help us improve the quality of our decisions. First is to know where you're going, have a clear picture of the future. And second is to be more present. So let's first talk about having a clear future vision. I look at this in two areas. First is your calling, and that's what you do, your profession, your work, your contribution. And then second is your growth foundation, and that's the support structure underneath. That includes your health, mental, physical, and spiritual, your relationships, your family and loved ones and friends and community, and then your resources, which is your financial resources, reputation, education, network. In order to really be your best in your calling, you need this balanced, healthy growth foundation. To build a real clear signal of the future, you want to look at your calling and your growth foundation, the health, relationships, and resources, and ask yourself a few simple questions. What do I really want here? What areas do I really need to focus on? What would bring me true joy and genuine inspiration? And I'll typically look at 3 to 5 years. Big birthday or an even decade, 2030 is pretty popular right now. The fact is, in that amount of time, you can do just about anything. If you're 5'2" and 50, you're not going to become an NBA star, but think about it. Just about anything reasonable in those areas. I think about pains and promises. What about my health keeps me up at night, really bothers me, that I would really like to solve for? And then the promises, like what would really make me happy? One exercise we'll do is we'll just set a timer and make a list for each area. And then from the pains, what would that feel like? Or what would that situation solved be? And it depends on how many things you have. Like we might look at maybe the top 3 for each area and your calling. And from that, we'll make a vision board or a vision statement that describes that future version of your life. The trick is to imagine that future version of yourself that is already living that life. What would you feel like? How would you wake up in the morning, right? How would you feel when you walk into a room? The choices that you'd make, how you would spend your time, your money, your attention, how would you respond to setbacks and surprises? You're not fantasizing. What you're doing is you're broadcasting a prompt, a very specific, detailed prompt to your unconscious mind, your nervous system, to the universe, to create the future version of yourself, to create your reality, your outcomes, and to guide yourself over time. This will help you stop projecting your past and your current reality onto the future. There's a thing called the reticular activating system, which is a part of the brain that helps to filter out things to make it easier for us to function, to survive, right? An example would be if you're thinking about buying an electric car of some brand, all of a sudden you'll start seeing them all over the place, much more than before. So this kind of specific future vision of yourself helps you in that way to see opportunities, to get ideas, to feel creative, but also not having it be ambiguous reduces the amount of anxiety and the feeling of being unsafe that your nervous system experiences. The other part is to become more present. And typically we say to do that through meditation. And when you think about meditation, for example, transcendental meditation is really you sit for 5 minutes or more and just pay attention to your breath. And what we'll notice is that your mind just starts automatically thinking. It just starts having a conversation. It starts saying, oh, I should have done this or do that, or why did he say that? It's like all of a sudden you're saying things, and for the most part you're saying things you already know. You're talking in English. You're talking to yourself as first person, and there's really no need for it. It's just automatic thinking. And the more that we can shift from automatic thinking to being present, the more we're able to make better decisions. So for example, if you're taking a walk in the woods, you can be totally lost in thought, or you could be feeling the wind on your face and looking at the trees and enjoying the experience. They've tracked meditators over time, and what they've noticed is that it changes the landscape of the brain. It increases the prefrontal cortex, which gives us more cognitive capacity and problem-solving skills, and then it decreases the size of the amygdala, which reduces reactivity. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this, a simple invitation. Look at your calling. Look at your growth foundation, your health, your connections, and your resources, and think about, what do I really want in these areas? What would make me truly happy? Come up with a picture of that. Come up with a paragraph, a couple sentences that describe it. Or you come up with an acronym. I have an acronym. I'm not going to say it because it's embarrassing. Like the second part is my name, Dean. It's a dedicated father, partner, and friend with an amazing social network and community, endless compassion and generosity, and it goes on. But anyways, something that you can see, something you can feel, something you can repeat when you wake up, during the day, when you go to sleep at night, when you're stuck in traffic. Put on your lock screen, put it on a sticky pad. Like if you have an acronym, that makes it a lot easier. Do it whenever you get frustrated or down or distracted, right? Make what you want the signal you send more than what you have or what you don't want. And every day, try to make one decision as if you were that future self, living that life. And I'll tell you what, it's guaranteed. If you get that new life and you don't like it, you can have your old life back. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Share it with someone who needs it. And most of all, I hope to see you in the next video. Remember, you're a gift. Stay present.